Collard Valley Cooks.
And Chris with Nichols Retirement Empire. We're going to be making a roast today, a chuck roast, on the big green egg, which I got from my retirement party. So Tammy's going to tell you a little bit about the chuck roast and how we're going to cook it.
Yes, I am.
Go for it.
Let me say this about beef in general. There is a choice beef, there is a select beef, and then there is a premium, I believe it's called. Select is the lower grade. You want to pick out choice beef when you're picking out a steak or a nice roast. Now, if you're going to braise something or marinate it, select is fine. But I do know that Ingles Grocery Store carries choice beef across the board. So you don't have to look for the name choice on it. Other grocery stores like Kroger, the majority of their beef is select, but they do carry choice beef. On steaks and stuff, you just have to look for the name choice. With that said, there's even the premium Angus beef, which is even a more higher grade, okay? But really, choice beef is good, I think. Now, this is a choice cut roast from Aldi. Aldi has good meats. I know that people look at it and go, they think because it's packaged like this, I think they kind of frown upon it, but really this packaging is wonderful for meat. And they're normally when you buy their meat, their shelf life is longer on it. So we're going to cut this open, and remember it's a choice cut, which means it's going to be juicier, it's going to have more marbling, and the juicier the meat is and the more fat marbled into the meat, the more flavor it has, y'all. Get the choice. Alright, here's our meat. You can see it's got some nice marbling in it. And all we're going to do, because this is a good choice cut, I am not going to, you know, just lather it down with different flavors, because the meat's going to taste good on its own. So we are going to just sprinkle it with some kosher salt on both sides. And I'm also going to put some steak and chop on it, which has, you know, a little bit of garlic powder, some salt, pepper, stuff like that. And I'm going to do the other side the same way. And I didn't rinse it either, y'all. Now, a chuck roast has more fat in it than a typical roast anyway, so it's normally going to have a lot of juice. So Chris will talk about that when he gets it downstairs on how he's prepared the cooker to catch that juice. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to put some really hot water in this quart jar, and I'm going to mix up some beef bouillon. We're going to use it downstairs. I'm going to use Knorr bouillons. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that in just a minute. Let me get some really hot water. Alright, with our roast, we're going to have some tasty, tender collard greens. This is Collard Valley Cooks cookbook. You can order it on Amazon, and if you want to save money and not get it signed, you can get it from the publisher, probably about $6 to $8 cheaper at the book patch. But anyway, this is tasty, tender collard greens. I'm going to tell you what the ingredients are, then I'm just going to dump them in. Or Chris can zoom in and let you see. It's the collards, a quarter cup of oil, 2 Knorr bouillon cubes, salt, a teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, what I have already washed and cleaned my collards. I do not buy collards prepackaged because they chop the stems up in the collard greens, and the stems makes your collards bitter. So buy your own collards and take them off the stem, wash them before you cook them. I washed these a couple of days ago and put some paper towels in here with them so that they wouldn't be too wet. But this is a whole mess, what I would call a mess, the collards. Now, I had bouillon that I had left over, not bouillon, but broth that I had left over from making a chicken the other day, so I'm actually going to use fresh broth instead of the bouillon like we're doing in our roast outside, because I have it in the refrigerator. So we're going to put this in our collard greens instead of the nor bouillon. Now, you see that gel? That means that I cooked my chicken for a very long time. When you cook meat or a chicken a very long time, the bone marrow actually gets into the broth, and that's what causes it to gel. If you only boil your chicken 30 or 40 minutes, when you save your broth, it'll just be clear liquid, like you buy in the store. It won't be this nice thick broth. Okay? Just thought I'd tell you that. We're going to put in the 1/4 cup of oil, which we probably didn't have to put as much in because we got oil on the top of it. Matter of fact, I think I'll take some of that out. That's the oil from the chicken. I mean, some of y'all would leave it in there, but, you know, there's some of it in there. But it's a good broth. We're going to put in a teaspoon of sugar. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of, I said a teaspoon of sugar. It was a teaspoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, don't leave anything out, and you're going to have some good pot liquor when they're done cooking, okay? Now, when you add water to your collard greens, you take your hands and you press them. Let me turn this so it won't burn me. You press them down in the bottom, and when the water comes to the top of your fingers, that's when you turn it off. That's how you know how much water to put in your collard greens. That right there is about right. And the reason is you don't want to get too much in there. If you do, you won't have a good pot liquor, a good, you know, like a good, delicious broth. You want it to taste just right like your mama's did or your granny's did. And that is how to do it. Now we're going to cook up these collards. We're just going to simmer them until they're nice and tender.
All right, I'm going to take this grate out for a second. All right, get this roasted right here. Okay, I've been working in the yard. I figured I had 2 hours, so I might as well work in the yard. So I got a bunch of stuff done, cut the backyard, that kind of deal. I'm getting ready to take this off. We're going to put it in some tin foil. Oh, it looks delicious. Look how pretty that looks. Okay, I'm going to put some Coke in there for some liquid.
We were out of beef broth, y'all, so we just grabbed what's handy. And Coke will be good.
Okay, it's been about a good 2.5 hours. We did 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 on the, you know, on the direct heat or indirect heat with the water. Now 2.5 with this, and I actually turned it off about 30 minutes ago. So now it's down to about 200. So we just have to get it out. Let's see what it looks like. See if it's still got the. Oh yeah. Got plenty of moisture in it. Didn't lose any, I don't think. It smells really good.
Great.
We haven't let it rest or anything, but I'm going to tell you, you can tell right there, that's tender. Alright, there it is on the cutting board.
Really nice and done. And tender.
Nice and tender. Looks delicious. Well, that's how we were successful with that.
Let's eat.
Collard
Let's
biscuit.
eat. Yummy yum. Gonna have it with some collard greens. Y'all want to see our collard greens?
Alright, there they are. Heated up. Nice and tender.
Thanks for watching Colored Valley Cooks. Love y'all. Bye.